Last time on The Empire's Edge.
It says you extend your hand toward a creature you can see within range and project a puff of noxious gas.
Gotcha. Oh, so there is one. I thought
So you
it was.
just cupped a fart.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's because I'm desperate. I have 2 hit points.
So let's make like a tree and get out of here. Natural 1.
Oh my gosh.
So you went up about 10 feet into the tree and you fell down.
Did you see anything before you fell?
The ground.
Boris, Zelen, you're smelling smoke. And not the leaf kind of smoke where Zelen caught the whole forest on fire. And you start to hear the sounds of people talking. I'm clan chief here. I would think that you have some food to share, which is our custom.
I'll give him 3 of my javelins.
From the other side of this road, there is a very large lizard creature, huge, like 25 feet long, that is coming up out of this low spot. It was covered in leaves and sticks and whatnot, and it is looking like it wants to attack and eat all of you. Roll your inits.
Damn it.
Ah.
Oh.
Sounds like Boris is going first. Boris, what you got?
7. I'm
Oh,
not sure.
okay.
no
Okay.
way.
So in that case, Jacob, where are we then?
Also 7.
Wow, 7's a big
I'm
round.
at 6.
Wow! We rolled higher than you this time.
I guess he really got the drop on us.
Well, as a matter of fact, the monster rolled 8. So in that,
Oh my god.
as far as that goes, we might as well say that the monster rolled a 21, Zelen rolled a 20, and you guys are like at 19. I mean,
I rolled a 400.
nice and nits, everyone.
What's your dex bonus?
I'm a 6.
Okay.
There's 7.
And so
Oh,
my,
so you're about. So you guys are okay. So simultaneously, yeah.
my dex bonus is higher, so I'd be going before him.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
I wanted to go first, but not this way.
Not like that,
Not
right?
like this.
All right, it thrusts forward and is striking one of you. I'm just gonna roll a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boris, it's attacking you.
Yee.
What's your armor class?
18.
And it hits you.
Ah.
Yeah, right off with its big jaggedy teeth in this bite. And Boris takes 10 points of damage right off. Now,
Swear word.
a 50-50, Jacob and Zelen, the thing whips to the side and its tail comes lashing out and it's attacking one of the 2 of you. Jacob, you're the 1, 2, 3. Zelen, you're the 4, 5, 6. Jacob, it's attacking you. What's your armor class?
16.
Misses you. So we'll assume that thing goes, whoosh, you went whoosh, and just jumped right over it.
Nice.
As this thing came around just that way.
Taking a quick moment to look at the way it's attacking, is it a good distance away, like it's got a bit of greater reach than we do, or is it still kind of
No, it's like right up. It's
All right, good.
right on top of you guys. It's right with you guys. And Jacob, you're up.
All right. It's engaged in melee combat. Punch my mic. It's engaged in melee combat with Boris, right?
It's engaged in the combat with all of you.
Okay. But moving away from it, does it still provoke an attack of opportunity? if
Yes.
it's engaged. Okay.
It's engaged with all of you.
Then I will take a 5-foot step back as my move action, and then I'm going to cast that Hunter's Mark spell. Label it as my core.
Okay, yeah, you've targeted it. Got it.
And that's all I can do for this particular round.
Got it. Boris.
All right. I am casting Divine Favor as my bonus action. That's an issue. I Googled the wrong edition of Divine Favor.
You hear like sparking sounds like the wires got crossed.
Yeah, but my wires.
Internal sparking.
Yeah, it does what I thought it did. And then attacking.
All right, it's right there.
What's its armor class?
You'll find out in a moment.
I bet. That is a 17 versus armor class.
You hit it.
Nice.
Nice. 13 points of damage, 2 being radiant.
It's taken. It doesn't seem tremendously impacted by that.
I hit it with a sword. That's kind of my one thing.
It was the right thing to do. Zelen, you're up.
Uko's breath.
All right, so roll your damage.
Roll my damage.
Because wasn't that your
Poison spray?
your
it's my
poison
poison
spray? Right. Yeah, just tell me your casting too. Just have to remember your code.
Oh.
And what's its saving throw on that? It's a
Constitution
save.
save or take D12 poison. 2 points of damage.
okay, taken again. And then the monster, as it's not just sitting stagnantly, it's like a stone figure. It is whipping and slashing around. It isn't like it's a still thing. So again, it's in this case it's bite, it's attacking, it itself toward Jacob. Jacob, what's your armor class?
16.
It hits you, and you take 8 points of damage.
Ouch.
And then at the same time as it's whipping around, either Boris or Zelen, its tail comes whipping through. Boris, armor class.
Still 18.
Still 18. I'll ask you every single time.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, and it misses again.
Good, because I don't feel like trying to maintain my concentration.
Jacob.
All right, I will. Darn. Okay, I can't
Wait,
fire at it.
He backed off.
Yeah, I backed off, so it would have had to move up to me.
Yeah,
So it wouldn't.
and provoked an attack of opportunity from the rest of us.
It has a reach on 2 different attacks.
So it's a big thing.
It is a
It
big
can still
thing.
reach you
But
when
I
you're
thought-
5 feet away.
Oh, that was my observation I was trying to make in the beginning. All right, I'll take another 5-foot step back and fire at it with my bow for a 14.
And that hits.
Oh, yes. All right.
Come on, big damage.
Extra d6 because Mark, 12 points of damage.
Nice hit. Still up.
All right.
So now I am
and-
definitely at least
Boris.
10 or 15 feet away from y'all. So if it moves to me again, you should.
Yeah, right. We
I don't know.
better. Otherwise, its neck is just growing by wizarding shenanigans.
Switch to Geico.
It's a very serpentine lizard.
Yeah, right.
But Boris, what are you going to do?
I am attacking with the Arngolian longsword.
Okay.
That is a 15 versus armor class.
Hits.
Nice.
Nice.
For minimum, 10 points of damage, 1 being radiant.
Taken. Zelen?
I'm casting poison spray again. Uko's breath.
All right.
I need more beans.
You need-
I did 1 point of damage.
Assuming it failed its save.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Did
Then-
did it fail its save?
No, it did not fail its save,
Well,
actually.
good. Then it didn't matter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
so you could have done maximum damage on that one. It just really, really didn't care.
You could have done way better, and it still would have done nothing.
All right. It is attacking
Feel
again. And this time it's attacking Boris.
All right.
What's your armor class?
18.
Still.
Yeah.
And that one misses you.
A day.
Zelen, your armor class.
14.
And its tail hits you. And you take 9 points of damage. And make a... Where'd it go? Dexterity DC save. Or a dexterity saving throw.
4.
No, you need to add your dexterity
Oh,
modifier.
Modifier to that.
Yeah.
7.
So as it does that, it sweeps you, does damage, and you are knocked prone by that thing's tail swishing around that way. And once it does that, as it's spinning around, it raises the upper part of its body up, and it is trying to come down and crush one of the 2 of you, Boris or Zelen. Jacob's just a
worry.
little
would it-
further away.
Just
Crush
looks
me.
big.
Well, try to hit you. I mean, I wouldn't crush you. And it is Zelen. What's your armor class minus your dexterity?
11.
What's your dexterity?
3. Modifier?
Okay, yeah. And what'd you say your armor class was normally?
14.
Okay, just double checking. And it hits you.
I don't want to be killed by a lizard. That's just gross.
Well, get your darts out.
For 10 more points of damage.
Ooh.
Yeah, that'd shake me up.
Yeah, I am now down to 2.
How's it look health-wise?
It is taking some pretty severe damage. And Jacob, you're up.
Gotcha. Just double checking the range on a certain thing. Yep. Nope. I'm too far away from you to try and heal you at all during this. So I'm just gonna shoot at it again with my bow. 18.
Hits.
Nice. 4. Nice. Math. 12 points of damage.
Good hit. It's looking very, very injured, but it's still up and moving.
Well, no, it's not. It's laying on me.
No, actually, it would like drop down and it's still just moving. Like
Oh.
it doesn't just sit still. Boris, you're around.
So here we have the fine line. Do I heal or kill the thing?
Ooh. With my move,
Just make it quick. Make
I
it
run to
quick.
the other side of the thing to be on its back. To flank it from the back.
There is no flanking it from the back. This thing is always in motion
It's
and
like
moving.
a salamander.
Oh.
Just zipping and...
But it's your round, Boris. What are you gonna do?
I'm attacking. With a nat 18, so that's a 26.
Definitely a hit. Definitely a hit. Your natural is definitely a hit.
Yeah, but I don't like this thing. So I want to get the full proper number. Yeah, there we go. That's 15 points of damage, 1 being radiant.
And as you do that, you do such a horrible hacking blow. This thing goes and just drops all at once,
Okay.
Thank you, Boris.
and just starts gushing its entrails and blood all over the place.
Lovely.
Dead.
Using lay on hands on Zelen, healing. I think it's still. Yeah, I'm still second level, so 10 points.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
I'm switching to all state.
What are you guys doing?
Is there anything like exoskeleton or anything that's
It's a
particularly
lizard.
Okay. Is there anything particularly valuable about its hide or any part of its claws or whatever it was using to attack us with that might be salvageable?
Do your knowledge nature.
That is a 15.
You know that there's probably a market if you head north to like Vlakveld for claws like this that people would buy these things. There could even be people that would have different like a want for the hide, which is more of a not so scaly. It's more like a leathery.
Mm-hmm.
But
Not in the direction
to
we're
do
going.
something, with this right now, probably not the same way.
Gotcha. Okay. And we don't even need to drag it off the road because
Yeah.
who uses this road?
You,
right.
you understand
Who knows
that,
about this road?
that like lizards' tails are often good eating, but beyond that, no.
Yeah, but only in the mystical land of Florida.
Yeah.
No, what was it? Xanth.
Well, that was fun.
There's a reference for like 3 people.
Oh no,
I
a
wonder
lot
where
more
this
than
thing
3.
came from.
Yeah.
Do you see
When a
can
mommy
you tell,
lizard and a daddy.
Do you see can you tell? Was it making a layer up here? Do you think there's more up here? Can you tell
Yeah.
anything, Jacob?
Wherever it was hiding, was it on the other side of this road? Go over there and just see if it was what it was doing over there. Was
Okay,
it
sure.
a
Yeah,
home
do
or-
your survival sense for a track.
Zelen, can you tell if
18.
it's full grown or a juvenile?
I'll go and examine it.
Okay, so first things first, Jacob, as you're examining that area, it looks to you like it came into this area just yesterday and then bedded itself down. And it's been laying against the stone of this road, maybe for heat, for warmth, or perhaps people do travel this road periodically and it knows it can lay in wait. But just the way there is that dip on that side of the road, that deep little cleft, that it could lay right in and squirm itself a bit and just blend in so well right to that spot that it was a good lair spot for it.
So
But
it looks like we came
just
came upon its
yesterday, just
hunting
yesterday.
spot, but it only recently established it. Okay, share that with y'all.
So I'm going to examine it to see if I can tell, is it full grown for what it is? Or,
Okay, yeah, same nature check.
And I'm still recovering, remember? So I rolled a 5. But do I get help from Jacob?
Well, he's standing right there. He's not offered to help you yet, but you're examining like its
What are you looking at?
claws,
Why are you
its
staring
teeth.
so closely at it? We just killed it.
I'm trying to decide if it's grown up or if it's a child
and I start
version.
pointing at like parts of it and just saying like you can usually tell if you
The
examine
teeth this and
thing
teeth
over
that,
here.
yeah. So with your advantage roll, what do you get, Zelen? What's-
So that gives me a 9.
The irony here, dear listener, is neither of them are any kind of science majors, and I'm in a zoology class currently.
There are telltales to know if this thing is immature or mature through colorations and whatnot. You've never seen one this big. It's frightening to think that this could be a young adult or a young, considering then what would an adult one of these things look like. But there is something...
Perhaps winged?
Perhaps. But there is something about it that makes you think this might not be its full size.
So I share that with the guys.
But you're not sure how much more it would grow.
Oh, this isn't even its final form.
Right.
All right.
That's unnerving. I wonder how large a brood for these things is.
Good
Yeah.
question.
That's a
So
word.
let's definitely keep our eyes out as we're walking.
All right. Getting my bearings back again, thinking about which direction was south, where the
Do we want
Okay.
to employ any more magic before we proceed? Heal up further? I'm spent for healing. That was
I do
the
have
one.
more healing. I can do a cure wounds spell.
Yeah, I'm on a scale of 1 to 24. I'm feeling a 14. I don't know about the two of you.
now I'm still above half of my hit points, so I still think that we're good. I want to save my spells in case we have any other encounters.
I was
out
thinking
here.
the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm at half hit points, but
Fair enough. Yeah.
Okay, so Jacob, go ahead and roll your survival skill with advantage. You've been following this track for so long, it's getting easier for you to pick up on it.
22.
Yeah, so you know the general direction. You pick a spot in the distance, and you're taking them in that direction. And you aren't on it for more than about a half an hour following in that direction, where you're smelling the faint smell of corruption. There's no roll needed for it, any kind of a sensory thing, investigation. It's apparent
Lovely.
there's an opened up animal somewhere not too far ahead.
Okay, yeah, and I'll point that out to you guys and just say,
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
in
we
case,
smell it
We
too.
noticed.
hopefully there's nothing eating whatever it is nearby.
Yeah, it doesn't smell rotted, but you've butchered enough animals,
Yeah.
field dressed them that it smells like that. You get a little further up from there, and you can just tell that by the way that the ground has been crushed down, by the way that the plants are mushed aside, small trees are broken in half, that this thing must have been fighting something else right here.
How small is a small tree?
A quarterstaff kind of tree.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so pretty small
Yeah,
small
so-
tree.
So obviously,
Saplings,
so a
yeah.
battle took place here.
Right, yeah, and a reasonably major one.
Glad it was
Do we notice? I mean, did something like
Yeah,
drag
everyone,
itself off?
everyone roll your investigation.
Can I assist one of them? Because that's a greater net benefit than
Yeah,
rolling
you
my own.
pick one.
Yeah, that one.
Okay, so Zelen, Boris is helping you out.
And with his help,
Jacob, what'd you get?
12.
Okay.
I rolled a 19.
Okay, so working together. Jacob, they called you and say, "Oh, we found something over here." Yeah, it was definitely a person. Probably human. Maybe male. It's really difficult to
Oh,
tell.
it's that just destroyed.
It's that kind of messed up,
oh,
yeah.
lovely.
You get
So does it look like the thing was eating on this being that's now left?
Yes, what you're actually finding is physical remains that are uneaten and physical remains that look as though they've been excreted. Do a knowledge nature again.
16.
17.
The both of you conferring share the same thought. If this thing was attacked
How
by that
diplomatic.
lizard, its digestive system shouldn't have worked that fast. There's no way this thing should have excreted something. If it killed something right here and ate it, it's still in its stomach back over there where we killed this
So maybe
monster.
there's another one that did this one in.
or
there's
this,
something else moving around.
yeah, or there's something else that it ate like days ago or a week ago or a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
Gotcha. Looking at this body as best we can to try and get some sort of a idea, because who would be out here? We're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it is the middle of nowhere. You're exactly right, Jacob. Its skull is the first thing you notice, the range of this person.
He has one. Okay.
Well, it's shattered
Bored
right.
through in 4 points, and it seems to be missing a brain.
It is missing its brain,
Lovely.
but it looks more like the skull was crushed right along, the cranial stitching right at the top. You see arm bones, leg bones, rib bones, completely shattered up, tattered chainmail, and there is a bow, and it looks as though it's been bitten right in half, as though this thing lunged forward and got this guy right in the bow, right in the arm, and then snapped it when it bit down.
Is there anything on the chainmail that we can get an idea of
Yeah.
designation?
Tabard, chevrons, anything.
No chevrons, nothing like that. The chainmail seems fairly well made. Honestly, it looks kind of like the stuff you could have gotten in Warland. So that'd be
And
Jake.
it's not rusty? I mean, it hasn't been laying here for a while. It's.
Well, he hasn't decayed yet, so.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that's true. That's
but
right.
Jacob, go ahead and make an intelligence roll.
Okay. Where's my? There's my number. 16.
That you do recognize the maker's mark. A man named Smithton made this in
Oh.
Warland, and he's working there now. So this suit would have had to have been purchased in the last 5 or 8 years.
Gotcha. And share that with you, Boris. And I'll search the surrounding area, see if maybe there's a bag or something that got tossed during the battle, some other personal belongings in the area.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can recall any other people assigned out here by the Baron.
So make that an intelligence check.
8.
No, it's not about ever remembering. He didn't assign anyone. Actually, Warland was very, very clear that his extent of power really stopped at the Brimroar Hills, even though, nominally speaking, the Brimroar Hills are part of his barony. So he's working up to build his strength to someday be able to send people that way. So there are no official expeditions in the Baron of Orleans.
I share that with the party.
Looking in the area just to collect all the belongings that I can. I got a 15 on an investigation, just looking for collecting all the different gear.
Okay, yeah. The only things that you're able to find are the chainmail and his snapped in half bow.
Okay. Anything?
Jacob, is there anything special
Do you have a
about that
quiver
bow?
on him?
Is there?
Anything special about the bow?
Oh, sorry.
As you're examining the bow, you do find where it looks like somebody carved in right at the grip the name Harlan and the last initial B, Harlan B.
Okay. All right. And I show that to you guys as well. Well,
Well, the bow's
Had a
been bitten
name.
in half, so I'm not sure how much use you'll get out of that. Could you salvage the string or his arrows?
arrows, potentially arrows nearby.
There are no arrows nearby.
No, so we'll hold on to the
Let's bury him.
the broken bow just to have it in case we find a camp or anything like that. Maybe he was nearby.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you stow the two halves of it like they're
Yeah.
sticking out of your pack.
I think burying him is the right thing to do.
Prevent anything else from getting to him.
Say a prayer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's good. So it takes a little while to dig through this stuff, but say half hour, 40 minutes, you have a grave dug that's suitable for really what's little more than bones, and you find the occasional piece of soft tissue.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's the proper thing. Once we've interred him, I'll say the proper prayer and memorize the location in case we do find his people.
Okay, very well done. And roll an intelligence roll.
Intelligence or investigation?
It's intelligence, for you to remember the spot.
Okay, well, it's the same because I don't have proficiency.
Okay.
17.
Yeah, you're positive you could find this place again.
All right.
Jacob?
And on we go, continuing down the pathway towards the gate.
All right, so
Or
as
pathway.
give me 3 different...
Dear listener, there were air quotes on that last remark.
Jacob, go ahead and make 3 survival checks as you're traveling through the course of this day.
Okay. Okay. All right. 9, 11, and 17.
Toward the end of the day, when you're like guys are thinking about, boy, maybe we should just set a camp, or do we push on a little bit more? You come across a trail that you feel certain must be from that lizard monster. It's broad, the way it's dragging things down, it's smashing a certain pattern, claws off to the side of it. It moved right through here, just not that far away.
Any idea how recently?
Go ahead and make a secondary check.
10.
Within the last 24 hours, you couldn't tell any
Okay.
closer than that.
So there's no way of knowing if this was the same monster we just fought or another one, but we know that they are native to this area.
Yeah, and definitely moving through this area too. Everyone make an investigation roll.
Hey.
Nice.
I don't want to go first. I'm going to go
19.
21.
21.
Oh,
Dang
no.
it.
Actually,
Don't
it was 22.
You're full of
It
lies.
truly was.
Full of lies.
You all smell smoke.
Oh.
Forest is on fire now.
Yeah.
So-
Is
And-
it like brush smoke or is it?
And
With
good
rolls
smoke?
that high, it smells like campfire smoke. It smells like a
interesting.
cooking fire kind of smoke.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Moving in that direction.
Yeah, which is along your track too.
Yeah.
So as you're moving through, you come across
Let's be cautious. but-
across a creek, and as you're following that creek bed between these two clefts in this little valley, you can see that it is clear up ahead, Jacob. It looks like the area's been denuded of trees.
And last time we found people in the woods, you lost 2 spears.
I'm aware. That's why I said let's be cautious, unless you're trading something this time.
I have a broken bow. All right. And so we've just found a clearing. Is there anything in the clearing or just...
Well, it's more of the valley ahead. Unlike the clearings where you found those like tribal settlements that were maybe 100 feet across, this goes on for a number of thousands of feet and wide. It also goes up the side of the ridge on both sides. So this entire valley has been cleared.
Jeez.
Jacob, do you see a lot of tracks going in and out? I mean, are there
Buildings?
Yeah, no, I'll take it.
Not quite close enough for the buildings to make a determination through the
last
foliage
few,
that's
Well,
but
we are going to get
as
to the
far
point
as
if we keep
tracks,
moving towards it, we're going to be out of tree cover and out in the open.
yes, if you stay in this along this track, you will be.
Let's be ready for a pitched fight. Something lives here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So getting just to
Hopefully
the
it's
edge
a
of that
friendly
clearing
something.
and then taking a look for tracks or any other signs of life.
Okay, are you moving forward any more stealthily than you would normally, or are you just walking up bold?
How close do we think that this fire or wherever this settlement or people might be?
You think you'd be to the edge of the trees in about 400 feet.
Okay. Then I will step slightly quieter than normal.
Okay, so make that stealth check.
23.
Nice, yeah, moving very stealthy. Do the two of you keep up with him, Zelen, Boris, or do you let him go a little bit ahead of you guys?
I let him advance.
I would let him go ahead a
real
little
noisy.
bit just to see.
Okay, great. So yeah, you move forward and you're moving very, very well. Tree to tree, quietly, and you get right up to the edge of this, and you realize that it isn't just that the entire valley's been cleared of trees. you realize that there have been retaining walls built right up the valley walls, and they are stepped. That there's farmland on these retaining walls, above these retaining walls built, where the entire valley on both sides goes up in 3 very large, like tables or tiers. And in the very bottom of this, between both these cleared sides, there is a very pretty little town. It looks nicer than any of the towns you've seen heretofore.
Definitely better than the last couple of towns we went into.
Yeah, where
'cause those guys were like,
they might
a
eat
few
you.
bad dental works off of being orcs.
Right, yeah. So once I assume it to not really be that big of a threat, take just another moment to look and see if I can see any people, any idea about the way that they're behaving.
Okay, so do this, and I know this is non-canon. Roll a d20, Jacob,
Okay.
and use your own level as a fighter type as the modifier.
Okay.
Oh, and use intelligence too.
Okay, so second level plus 2, 16.
You're making what's tantamount to a military assessment of what's going on down here. And you realize this close to the town that you don't see that there's any kind of a skirmish line.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see any particular defenses. That to walk through the last bit of trees, you're then in open fields. You're at the lowest portion of those tiers, those steps that go up the valley. You're at the same level as the town itself, but you don't see that there's any kind of a town defense. There isn't a wall, there isn't a gate, there isn't a creek or a moat. There's just the creek that runs through the bottom of the town, but there is no defense.
Okay, I'll return back to Boris and Zelen, and I relay what I found. Doesn't look like a big threat. I think we should be able to proceed safely, get into this town.
I still say be cautious with it. Let's, maybe not weapons out and seem peaceful, but who are they? Why are they out
Right,
here?
where did they come from?
Yeah.
Do you want to go first or last, Boris? Because you could be defensive or threatening.
I'll go first. Jacob, would you take rear?
Yeah.
All right.
As you're proceeding forwards, the track that Jacob just returned from, and get through the trees, Boris, you are struck because you know this kind of town, the way the town's arranged, the style of buildings. This looks like it's any of the towns from the Confederation of Duchies, particularly in the southeast. That's Manhurst Duchy. This looks like a beautifully done beam, plaster, horse lat building, and it's just the neatest, most tidy town you have ever seen.
Does this scream trap to anyone else?
Does it?
No.
I can detect magic, but only 30 feet, so we might need to get a little closer.
Yeah,
before I can
and-
tell.
And also, once we're
Obvious
that
spell
close,
casting might not be the best.
you start waving
that's
your
true.
hands and chanting. People are like, okay.
That's how I say hello.
That's my normal greeting. I'm not being dangerous.
It seems like these people have made a rather good living for themselves. Nothing seems particularly off about it to begin with.
You know what?
Right.
If we want to take a minute, I can transform to a rat and go in and run around.
You can do
and
what?
I can transform myself into a rat and go and run around the town and see if I can.
Didn't I tell all of you guys?
By the way, I can change to be other things.
That's fantastic.
Well, we're already on the approach. If they
Okay.
do have scouts, they probably have seen us by now.
Right, so let's not give away that I can change myself into a rat.
Right, yeah.
Okay, I forget now, the 5e version of Spot.
It's just
Just
Perception.
Perception.
Yeah.
Ever make a perception roll as you're right there at the tree line looking to see what to do next. And Jacob always wants to go last before he says what his number is.
If I get beaten on this, I'm going to be so upset.
I rolled an 18.
17.
I rolled a natural 20. For
Nice.
23.
What you notice first, Jacob, is that where there are a number of roads coming out of this town, they're all just heading into the fields. That there looks like there's no road that goes through the Brimroar. That all of their roads are just like local farm lanes that lead to different points of the very bottom terrace or the next level up or the one that's above that.
It's like entirely self-sustaining.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
There is
completely
no way to take.
self-contained.
You couldn't like get a horse or a cart and ride to or from this place without going into deep woods.
Huh.
Okay, now it's a little weird.
Yeah, that's really interesting. It's like a forgotten village kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right. Anything? So as we're getting closer, people, anyone?
Yeah, are we encountering anybody?
Yeah, there are people moving around the town itself.
What time is it?
This would be at about 1 in the afternoon.
Is anybody noticing us? Is anybody like surprised?
Yeah,
Nobody
as we're
comes
emerging from
here.
the tree
Is
line.
anybody surprised to see
Not
somebody
yet.
that-
Well, again, I had said that the tree line was about 400 feet away from where you are. It's still probably 1,000, 1,500 feet to the town across the fields in this lower portion of the valley.
And which direction are we approaching it from?
The northwest.
Yeah, so you're from the northwest and you're heading toward the southeast, and the middle of the town runs really along that line.
Jacob, how are you carrying that bow? Are you
It's
just
just-
like swinging it in your hands?
It's in my pack. Just
Okay, yeah. Let's just not walk in carrying potentially one of their townspeople's broken bows.
if they can recognize someone's bow at that distance, these people are weird.
I mean, I'm assuming we're
Oh, yeah.
walking into town. Let's not
Oh, yeah,
walk
yeah.
into town swinging it.
So as you guys clear the tree line and you're heading in toward, you're crossing an open field, everything seems to be growing at about a height, the various grains they're growing, that you would expect for what's typical even in like Warland or Gryan, that the growing season seems to be the same. You don't get very far into it when you can see people in the field who are working, cultivating, weeding, straighten up and look at you, hands go up to their eyes as they're looking to see who's there, and then people rushing in toward the main part of the town, and they're calling out, they're yelling for somebody, calling for
no
someone.
time for a friendly wave.
Yeah.
Let's just keep.
Yeah,
let's
ju-
just keep
keep
moving
Yeah.
Nothing
forward.
about our pace. Just
Stay
keep walking.
neutral.
Stay neutral. Right.
Let's not yet unlimber weapons.
Right.
And as you guys are getting close, you're only a couple hundred feet from the buildings, and you're approaching a lane that's heading toward, the most northern part of the town. People are meeting you just outside where the buildings are on that lane, and it's a whole group of people, easily, 40, 50 people or so, and they're still gathering out of the fields too.
Expressions on their faces.
Joy initially, and then confusion right after that. And then two people step forward out of that group, and they're all dressed like they are like upper middle class as it would exist in the Confederation of Duchies. They're well dressed. The farmers are in work clothes, but you can tell that these are not people that have no means, that everyone here seems to have means of some sort.
Nice.
But two people step forward, a man and a woman, and they introduce themselves, and he says, welcome. It's surprising to see you. Welcome to the town of Shepton. I'm Carl. This is my wife, Lori. Carl Graves. We're the mayors of this town. Why are you here? How did you find this place?
Purely by accident. I am Boris Kirsonov. These are my traveling companions, Zelen and Jakob Treadstone. We've been traveling south, heading to the mountains, and happened to cross your town.
And the woman that was standing there, Lori Graves, the one of the mayors, she said, "Boris Kirsonov, you're the ward of the Baron of Warland, aren't you?"
You know me?
I know of you. I think I've seen you a couple of times, though I didn't make myself apparently known to you at the same time. It would have been 4 or 5 months ago when I was in Warland and we were getting some supplies, things we can't manufacture here ourselves.
I see.
How often do you go to Warland?
Once a quarter, maybe, 3 times a year, possibly, something like that. But we can talk about why we're, what we're doing here and why we're here. And when we go to Warland, it's just, we've never seen someone just walk to the town of Shepton before. It's amazing to all of us. Did you come through easily, or were there dangers on the way?
I imagine we probably look a little bloodied.
Yeah, I'd imagine-
This almost feels like an insult. Like, did you make it okay?
Right.
We've encountered some challenges. A den of gricks for one, and a great lizard for the other.
And at that, the mayor Carl Graves says, "Well, let's talk inside. Let's move into one of the buildings. Let's head to the meeting hall." And others come up to you right then, and just a flurry of names. Have you heard of this person? Have you heard of that person? And you can't even recognize one name over the others. They're all overlapping. That there's easily a dozen people that are inquiring after people's names who all seem to be missing or unknown or lost just beyond the borders of their valley.
Any chance a particular name sticks out at me, like I read it off of a bow?
Well,
Not
We
at
wouldn't
this
react-
moment.
We
Not-
wouldn't react
No,
anyway.
no, try not to
Yeah.
react to it, but just like, did I just hear that? Just like slightly?
Yeah, you might have.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Um,
very well might have. So you're led
yeah.
into the town.
say
So
blessings as we go through. Try and be conciliatory, but not. Yes, we encountered a dead guy.
So when you say blessings, do you say that in any particular way? Is there anything that would come out that would be communicating your religious training?
I think almost invariably.
That would make sense to me too. And as you're doing that, various people that are there put their index fingers and thumb together with both hands, making
The
like
knave symbol.
the knave symbol. That's the own symbol. That's on your armor, your shield, your crest, everything else. And as you're giving blessings, they're making that knave symbol and touching it to their forehead, just like they were having some kind of a service in the Confederation of Duchies.
This is really weird. They shouldn't be. Somebody
get all this
teleported a
love.
whole town.
You get all this love and adoration, and suddenly you just don't like it.
I'm not trusting it, he
I
says.
never liked it. That's why I'm
So
so
as you walk
cynical.
into town, it's a wide thoroughfare between the buildings, easily about 50 feet, so wider than typical street. It's narrower at both the south and the north ends, but widens into the middle. There's a large stone well that's more like a fountain that seems to be constantly bubbling up that you could draw water
So
from the
kind of
middle.
equal parts Main Street and Town Square.
Very much so. And adjacent to that, where that fountain is, there's also will be tantamount to an ambo or a speaking platform that a person could address, all of those that are concerned.
As we're walking past the buildings, I'm going to give them a good look. I'm wondering if any of them might have a stone. We've encountered so many stones on our path. Like, will they have a stone above the doorway, or
I thought you meant getting that magical stone out of the tinderbox.
Oh
and like,
no! Yeah, no.
Well, she'd have to
Okay.
pick my pocket first.
Ju-
I know,
just,
that's what, like,
just
Happy's like, "Oh,
looking,
God."
just looking, because we've encountered a lot of stones. So could that be something about this village too? Do above each doorway is there kind of stone?
Are
Is
there enormous rune stones enringing the thing that implies that they've been teleported from?
No, there isn't.
also a good question?
But with that, as you're walking,
They're probably buried.
almost right up to that fountain that's flowing water, not just like it's singly a well, and the
Have we ever
speaking.
seen anything like that?
No, nothing like that. That there's water being like pumped up somehow from underground.
Yeah.
As you get to that, every one of you, go ahead and roll your knowledge nature or an intelligence roll for a memory check.
It's 6 or 2 3s. 18.
dang. Yeah, he did really good. 14.
21.
And yeah, so with that, the DC was a 10 on that.
Yeah.
You all recognize that the stonework of the fountain and the speaking platform look an awful lot like the stonework you've seen in a number of ruins just in the past week or so.
Huh.
If you-
I asked the mayor, how long have you been here? When was the town established?
It's been, they look at each other, 18, 20 years now. We've had this town here, and it's been our secret. It's been something we've worked for a very long time. You wouldn't recognize this place had you seen it 2 decades ago, completely overgrown. But that's again for another time. And a building from the direction you're heading into town, that is, you're walking south as you're going through the town, to like the left-hand side of that fountain. They lead you into a building. Looks like it's a private residence. All the buildings look the same age. It has an adjoining wall with a building next to it. And Lori and Carl Graves, the mayor, say, "This is our home. It's best for us to speak in private here." And as they are like ushering, guiding you, directing you into their house, Carl Graves turns to everyone else and said, "We'll communicate all that needs to be said, and we'll talk to everyone and make an announcement in a half an hour and an hour. But get back to work if you're able to, but we'll find out what we can about all of your loved ones." And then he steps in, closes the door, and they have you guys sit down.
Has something been attacking your people?
They have been. There are huge, monstrous lizards that are out there just beyond our cleared area, our agricultural area. We've never had any sort of a problem with creatures. Every once in a while, there'd be a larger grek, but nothing that we couldn't handle. But then these things came only 10 days ago, and it's killed most of the people who living here would have taken care of a problem like that. Our chief hunters are gone. Our spellcasters are gone, and we're not sure what to do, what that means for our town itself. Both Willifred Mansarm and Theodore Hobbs are gone. They're out there now, could be fighting these things, but we haven't heard anything from them for 9 days.
Do you
And
know?
were they hunters? Willifred and Theodore?
No, he said they were casters.
No, they were a conjurer and an evoker. They're the wizards that allowed us to get here and to build this place.
How long ago did you say?
9 days.
9 days. These beasts that showed up recently and given the description of the lizard that we just fought, are they like these?
That sounds like that must be what that is.
How many do you know for sure here?
2 of our hunters killed one, but beyond that, we don't know any numbers beyond that. Harlan Barnes and Hudson Franklin went out to hunt them and didn't come back. And then Charlene Adams went out to do the same to find where they are, and she has not come back. So we know that Harlan and Hudson killed one of them. They came back and told us that, but we assume there must be more.
At the mention of that name, I take the broken bow out of my bag and I play. Assuming we're sitting around a table and place on the table.
Yeah, they exchange a very knowing look, and they said, "Well, it's true then. That what a horrible thing. We'll have to tell." And Lori says, "We'll have to tell Susan that Harlan's gone." This is horrible news.
We buried him to prevent any further desecration, and I give a description of distance and location.
Within the keepings of the Church of Uko, as are limited by.
As best as I could.
Thank you. That will mean an awful lot to Susan.
Beside the 2 hunters that killed one, has anybody else fought and returned?
No one else has returned.
Is there any idea of a source? Is there an idea of where they were coming from?
We expect that just to our east there are very, very steep ridges. We think that it could have been that out of those mountains something changed, something was disturbed. We don't know exactly. Both Theodore and Willifred were saying that they thought that something had changed in the very nature of power, of magic. And they said that this could have been a disturbance that freed something, brought something out of a deep slumber. But if it is, it's a colony of these things. There's a huge number of them. We don't know. So, but you've encountered them too. What happened?
We encountered one on a section of road north of here and fought it and managed to slay it. We saw signs of its passage, or perhaps passage of its kin, and we saw the scene of the battle.
From Harlan.
Yes.
So you've killed one.
Yes, 2 have been
Harlan
slain.
and Hudson
definitely.
have killed one, so then 2 of them have been slain. We don't know how many more there are. Those of us that knew how to look for sign and track are gone. That was their purpose in this community.
Have they attacked the town itself at all? Have they come out of the tree cover into this area, this valley?
No, but that's the last thing that Charlene Adams said before she went looking for Harlan and Hudson, was that if there are larger predators in the area, it won't take them long to figure out where there is a food supply that's easily attained. And we have both, we have cattle, we have sheep, we have goats, and us. So these things will continue to close in on this area. But you said a road, Sir Boris. What road did you find?
A ruin of, we think, from Old Bravis, or perhaps a civilization between then and now.
We didn't ask them many questions about it, but both Willifred and Theodore said that this location was at one point a settlement from Old Bravis, that these terraces, these tiers, were already sculpted into the hillside. We did little more than clear them. The area, this area at the bottomland, was simply empty, but the fountain was already there, and that's what made it just perfect and suitable for us to build a town. And so we did and built this town.
I confess I wondered. It reminded me of places I've been to in the Confederation. But more importantly, we will do what we can to end this threat to your village.
That
seek out the remainder of the brood. If there is A large one, a mother, perhaps, put an end to the threat entirely.
I am so thankful that we did not even have to ask. It is communicated that Knights of Arngol were this kind of person. We had never known one ourselves. But
I confess my motives are not entirely noble. We are on a mission of our own, questing into the mountains, and I hope with bringing peace to this area, at least for a time, we could use your town as a staging area for that mission.
absolutely, you're welcome here. It sounds like a very terrible thing to say, but we could either put you up for however long you need then at Hudson Franklin's house or at Charlene Adams' house, at least for the time being. The house at the very, very end of town, at the most southerly end, it's the largest building in the entire town. That is the residence of Theodore Hobbs and Wilfred Maesmarn. I've been inside it. I've been onto the lower level, but not even at all the rooms. I don't know if there'd be information or if there'd be anything else that would help you in your knowledge to end this threat to our town or whatever. You've said your mission is here in the Brimroar, but that could be something to look into as well.
We'll take a look and do what we can not to disturb their effects too greatly.
All right, then they direct you just by like number and count what directions Charlene Adams and Hudson Franklin's houses are. It's houses 8 and 12 on the map.
That you could get on the website.
You can
if
get on the
accessed.
website. So as they're done, and they would have brought out probably nothing more than wine and water, probably a watered down wine actually, that they're serving you to drink, and whatever they had handy to eat, that they put some food in front of you while you're talking and letting you eat, and you're sitting there for a little bit. And again, Boris, it feels like you're in the Confederation of Duchies, that you expect to walk outside and just like go down any street and eventually go to any one of the baronies or duchies themselves.
Right, yeah.
That it feels like that much like home. But you can hear the murmur outside. Laurie and Carl look at each other like, we've got to make an announcement. And so they do. They go outside and leave you in their home, and you can hear the general, horrific reaction that it's very clear that Harlan Barnes is dead. You can hear people crying outside, and then eventually the group starts to break up. As they're breaking up, you can hear that there's a renewed cause for hope among all the people, and that spreads through all their murmuring, and that is that the three of you have volunteered to end this threat.
So let's
rest here?
recuperate, restock our rations if we're able.
Was it
and-
obvious which house they said we were staying in, or was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they pointed it out.
Okay.
All right, so you guys, in a few minutes, when the Graves come back into their home and they walk you back outside, people want to come near you, to say things to you, to ask things of you, but the Mayors, the Graves, are keeping you back for the time, or keeping them back for the time being, and you're directed to the two houses that they seem to indicate that Zelen could stay in Charlene's house, and that the two men can stay at Hudson Franklin's house.
All right.
I got a room with Boris. He snores.
So I'm going
Like
to
an owl bear, yeah.
gonna go into Charlene's house, put down some things, and then my hope is that there is maybe a back garden or some kind of garden that I can go into where I'm not going to be quite as observed.
Yes, as you were walking in, you could see that each one of these towns had, or each one of these houses had its own narrow strip behind it that was like a personal garden, and then typically a lane that ran adjacent to that, and then fields, and then hitting one of those tiered steps, and then the next course up of farmland above it. So yeah, there's definitely a vegetable garden back behind.
Okay. So I go into the back garden and cast Speak with Animals.
Yes, well, as you're doing that and looking, you can see that the omnipresent bluebirds are back there.
Okay. So I speak with animals and call the bluebirds generally to see if any of them will come to me.
Yes, there are two of them in particular that come right over to you and are looking up at you very attentively.
Okay. Do you have word for me?
No, but the druids have said that if you should call on us, we'll deliver any message that you wish to them.
Okay. Do you know of the lizard, of the monster that's killing the people?
We've only seen you fight a lizard, one that you killed. We've been following you.
Okay. I would like for you to take a message back to the druids in Warland. Can you do that for me?
Warland?
Where June is.
Yes, we'll take message to June and to Aina and to Drew.
Can you tell them the things that you've been seeing? Can you tell them the things that we've been doing?
Yeah, give me a list. What are the bullet points you want to communicate?
Can you tell them that we are in Shepton, that they are being attacked by giant lizards? We've killed one. Can you tell them to beware of the Gricks if they try to come here? Can you tell them that we're heading to the Gate of Ages?
Yeah, they can relate all of that. And considering you guys might have talked about what you might want to communicate to the druids, do either one of you want to chime in things you might have said?
I think we've already, I think you've already spoken to the bluebirds since the last time, so I think they already know we're going to the gate.
Okay.
I think that's already happened one time since.
I have to look, honestly. I forget if you communicated that by a bluebird or not.
Well, yeah, that the mission proceeds well, and
that we're going to try to neutralize this threat here.
Yeah, secure a foothold on the far side of the Brimroar.
And you are specific about that. You are looking for a place called the Gate of the Ages and the Throne of Endar, just in case that hasn't been communicated before.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll make a special note of that myself that you are communicating that. I can say all those things. It'll take us 2 days to be back.
Okay. Thank you. Fly safely.
And they take off and fly northward.
So what I'd like to do is rest to get the rest of my health back.
I think recuperating is good, but let's check out that house first.
First? Okay.
Yeah, so that way we're not wasting any time in the morning before we go after these creatures.
So I'll come out of the house once I've been able to kind of send those messages unobserved, go knock on y'all's door.
Dropped off some kit.
Yeah.
Okay.
See if we want to go and explore the caster's house.
Armed and armored for the time being, but dropping off like the javelins, my backpack, the hammer.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And I'll definitely keep my shillelagh with me. What?
Oh, shillelagh is a spell you cast on a thing.
On my staff. I'll keep my staff, my capable shillelagh possible
Yeah.
staff.
All right, so
Schrodinger's shillelagh.
as you walk through town again, people are approaching you, and I don't want to go into the minutiae of the conversations, but everyone is asking you where you've come from, what's the news from the outside, have you seen this person, have you seen that person, why are you heading to the caster's house, what are you supposed to do there, be careful, it's bewitched and it's trapped. They just go, there's just a non-stop stream.
Hold on, what was that last one?
I'd never say anything against Theodore or Willifred, but everyone knows that casters like that they have spells to trap and protect things. No one's ever been upstairs, and there's rooms even on the ground floor that no one's gone into. So if you're going to go there, be careful. They protect their things.
Gotcha. I stand on the welcome mat of the area, and I cast Boris Goes First.
He generally does.
Yeah, because while my hit points vary, my armor class doesn't.
So you get up to the house. It's, again, the largest house. The thing is easily, 35, maybe 40 feet deep, 70 or so feet.
Yeah,
side to side. It's huge. It's about 3 times the size of any of these other houses.
Yeah. Well, we know they're not home, and we do have permission to enter, so
Right.
try
Yes,
the
you do.
door. Is it locked?
As you were moving through the town, Carl Graves caught up to you and said, here's a key to the door there. I'm going to go with you. At least I might even go inside. But here's the key.
All right, thank you. So I'll unlock the door and open it.
Okay, so make a perception roll, all of you.
Neat. 6.
10.
13.
Both Jakob and Zelen are aware that as Boris is unlocking it, the mayor, Carl Graves, sort of leans back and closes one eye until the lock, mechanism clicks and nothing happens, and then he relaxes just a good bit.
God.
I should be charging you people.
Open the door.
You're lucky I'm lawful good. Yes.
Into a
I'll step through the
sizable
threshold.
foyer, and it's fairly well appointed for a house that's out in the middle of nowhere. The foyer itself is a good 15.
Well, yeah, the one guy's a conjurer. He can just nick things from anywhere.
Yeah, a dozen feet by 15 feet long. There's a staircase off to the right-hand side that goes up, and you can see at the top of the stairs is a closed door.
Yeah, we've been warned about upstairs specifically, so let's put a pin in that.
And there's a door to the left, and then a door straight ahead.
Do you want me to detect magic, or should we just assume everything in here is magical?
We are assuming that everything in here is magical,
Okay.
but
Detect magic's
it'd
always
be
a good thing.
it'd be nice to know where.
Okay.
Carl says straight through is into their very, very large kitchen. Off to the left is the anteroom, the waiting room, the receiving room. And I've been in both of those rooms, and I don't recall ever having to watch my step. I was told at different points from Theodore, be careful opening the door if I'm not with you. I should have said that right off. I'm sorry.
Well,
I didn't think about it
quite
until
matter because none of us were Theodore.
or it could be that you're good. So
Okay.
Insight,
Theodore is the homeowner.
I'm aware, but it could be that you're good. Is he implying that he is not?
Oh.
go roll your insight check.
Yeah, my whole +2. Well, 11 for a 13.
He strikes you as being a very decent man. That he didn't mean anything by that. That he just doesn't want to unlock locks. He's not sure what they're going to do.
This place still screams trap to me. I'm just waiting for mind flayers to come out of
He's a
somewhere.
good guy. He just, doesn't want to be the one who dies.
Through the anteroom, I know there's a connecting door to the hallway that leads to some other rooms and into the kitchen, and then another door into the drawing room, like the living room for all of us.
Thank you.
So where do we want to go first? Anteroom?
Closest door.
Yeah, might as well search the whole thing.
I'm going to so I can cast the detect magic for a longer period of time, but it'll take me longer to do that casting. I'd like to go to the kitchen and do my concentration there.
Okay, yeah. So as a ritual, you'll be in the center of the house. Great. So you proceed straight through the foyer. You're in the kitchen area, and again, it strikes you as being a very well-appointed manor home. They live fairly well. You also notice that Carl Graves, as he's looking around, he's taking things in a little bit more. Like he hasn't spent much time in this place. And he's also noting how much better these two live than the rest of everybody else. All right, so you cast your spell?
I've cast my spell.
She starts waving her hands around for 10 minutes. We just kind of twiddle our thumbs.
Doing her thing, yeah.
Yeah, so you're doing this really cool kind of dance. And as large as this kitchen is, and there's an adjacent dining area, there seems to be a workshop, some kind of an area just off the dining room, and you're getting some kind of a resonance from that direction.
Okay.
That there's something magical there.
I would suggest we explore the workshop. That's where I'm feeling the most power.
All right, so do you guys head in the workshop?
Yeah,
or-
absolutely.
that's-
Yeah.
All right, so again, on this lower level, so far, nothing has been locked up apart from the outside door. So a very...
I'll still open the door and walk in first in case, a lightning bolt strikes me or a bear appears.
All right. That's interesting. So as you get through that that door,
Oh, God.
Well, one, the classic game suddenly bears. 2, evoker and conjurer, I want to cover my bases. And 3, best armor class.
it always makes sense. So as you get to that door
Not that I like it.
and you go in, like most of the rooms, there is an interior stove, very Central
Right,
and
yeah.
Eastern European, ceramic on the outside.
Make place warm, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's a few different tables. Looks kind of like an alchemy room or a science room with equipment, tools, gear, just spread all over everything in this place. It's like being in a lab class,
Is
Victor.
there anything
Yeah.
that, with my spell still activated, is there anything that I particularly notice or...
Yes, as you're doing that, actually right near the door, where you're moving in through, there is a series of hooks for, coats, whatever you're going to hang there, weapons. And there is an amulet on a chain. and you believe that the magic is coming from that amulet.
I share that with the team and move towards the amulet. I can focus on the amulet to see if I can gain more information.
Yes,
Engage glowy shenanigans.
it looks like it feels as though it is resonating enchantment magic.
It's resonating enchantment magic.
What does that mean?
I know what that means, but I don't know what that means.
How would I know what that means?
So read that spell again. Is there anything that I'm used to a period of time, but does she know not just the school but the function as well?
No, we need
yeah,
to cast Identify.
Right, yeah.
Because there's no more spellcraft.
So you'll need to take some kind of a step to find out more about it.
I'm going to reach out and touch it.
Okay, so
I'm going to touch it.
as you like rest this thing in your hand, it's still hanging on the chain, looking at it.
She touched the butt.
It is a piece of like a metal plate, and the symbol on it is a bear, very stylized, like if somebody had carved it in stone, but cast it in metal. And you know the symbol itself. Ludmilla always called it Meistrid, Meistrid, and it's like a combination of bravery and champions. Like,
Oh, so this is a very positive symbol. I'm going to lift it off and put it around my neck.
and you are aware, and in doing so, you are in essence attuning the thing to yourself. You know that it has just given you a boost to wisdom checks. As you're wearing this thing, so you can write on your sheet that it's.
I'm going to share this with my friends that this is enchanted and it'll help. It increases my wisdom.
Not your wisdom, but it gives you a +1 bonus on any wisdom.
Yeah, but I can't tell
or
that to Jacob
religion
and
check.
Boris.
Okay, I'm just saying. Okay.
Yeah, okay, so any skill that is associated with wisdom as well as wisdom checks goes up.
Right, by one. Yeah. And that you also believe that in some capacity it can cast the heroism spell.
Wow.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, Googling the heroism spell.
So, and just
so
to,
the one thing that we'll have to decide is if I'm the best person to be wearing this.
Makes the most sense to me that you'd be.
All right, so I've got this amulet. These are the powers it casts. There's definitely a spell associated with it. It'll definitely help my wisdom, my knowledge.
You should hang on to it. You seem most suited to it.
Okay.
so and then
Good, and I like it.
And as you're concentrating and moving through the majority of this downstairs, most rooms are unlocked. There are 2 that are locked, and Mr. Graves is unwilling to try to open those or to do anything about them. And you do detect magic coming from both of those rooms, but opening them could be just a dangerous thing for now. As if, periodically you just direct your vision and view up, like through the ceiling of this place. You note that there's magic above your head as well.
Okay. So
we were warned off the upstairs and a few other rooms, so let's be happy with what we've got for now and move on.
I agree. I agree. But Mr. Graves, it is important that this be secured. That nobody tries to get in here.
All the people were telling us how terrified they were of this building before we walked in, so I think...
But sometimes curiosity can overwhelm terror. So it is, those kind of rumors would not be bad to have continued in the town, just to keep people out of this. We might come back at some point and explore it further when I have greater wisdom and understanding, but this is not a place for anybody to be in.
Well, I do not want to do things that spark additional fear. 2 people are afraid right now, but I will try to keep people back from getting into the house.
Thank you.
And as we leave it, I'm certain Sir Boris will lock it, and I'll
do lock
reclaim
it
the key.
and hand him the key.
Okay, yeah. So you guys leave there and head back to your own individual dwellings, unless you're going to do anything else.
No, I think we're okay for now. That we're going to call it a night and then find this thing's lair or trail or whatever in the morning.
Okay, yeah. So you have gone back to your individual rooms. You get food for the night. You bed down, rest up, go to sleep. Next morning, you feel very refreshed. Any damage and wounds have been healed yourself. And with that refreshment, the exertion of these past days, you are waking up leveled up.
Nice.
You are 3rd level.
Thank you for being part of the Empire's Edge podcast. We're looking for your clever swears. Get creative, think Shakespearean, and submit on Twitter. Use the hashtag EmpireSwears. The best will be used and recognized in future episodes. To support our podcast, go to subscribestar.com/the-empires-edge.